Okay, so just so you know, we are going to have a quiz probably in like 2 weeks. It'll be like kind of like a halfway point quiz. And then instead of a unit test, we're gonna have like two, like we're gonna have a bigger quiz in this unit. Okay. And you can see on that very first page kind of what we're going to be looking at. Okay, we're going to be looking at numerical expressions. So integers, order of operations, absolute value, opposites. Those are the kind of words that we're going to be working with. Okay. So today, as you can see over on our board, we are going to be focusing on absolute values and opposites. So today, when you walk out of here, I want you to be able to say, I can evaluate absolute value and opposite. Okay, you know how to work with those with numbers. Now, according to your, oh shoot, I did not give those back, did I? We'll do those at the end then, because Mrs. Holman is just so excited, I forgot. When I went through, you know what, we're just gonna do it now. We're gonna press pause on this. Okay, so by the end of today, my goal is for you to walk out of here being able to understand an absolute value and an opposite. Trend says we're going to be okay. All right. So go ahead and turn to the page 1 in your notes. Okay. And we're going to focus on absolute value first. Okay. The absolute value is a number's blank from blank. Okay, and you think you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Do you know what absolute value represents? You know how to do it, but you just don't know how to, like, what it means.
How far negative numbers to 0?
Ah, yes. So another word for how far would be distance. So a number's distance from 0. Okay. Now, when we talk about distance, do you ever say that, like, oh yeah, Lincoln's like -50 miles? No, we don't talk about negative distance. Distance is always positive. Okay. We can say go 50 miles east or 50 miles west. Okay, we can describe it a different way, but distance is always positive. So an absolute value will always be a positive number. Okay. So when I ask you for the absolute value of -5 right here, okay, well, here is -5 and here is 0. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are 5 away from 0. Yeah, see, we just needed a reminder, right? Okay. So if I ask you for the absolute value of 4, here's 4. How far are we from 0? We are 4 away. The absolute value is always going to be positive. Okay. Basically, the absolute value says, I don't care what's inside, what's coming out as a positive number. Kind of like your attitude in here. You're gonna walk out of here with a positive attitude, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's come down to here. I want to look at number 1, number 2, and then we'll talk about these right here. Okay. Okay. So in your head, I want you to think, what is the absolute value of -6? Just think in your head, think in your head, think in your head. Trenton, what's the absolute value of -6? Brady, is he correct? Okay. Bennett, why is he correct?
Because -6 is 6 away from 0.
Love it. -6 is 6 away from 0. Okay. Think in your head, what number has the same absolute value as 3? Think about it in your head. You know what? Turn to your elbow partner. Tell them what you think. Okay. Ryan, what did you and Quinlan talk about? -3. We know that the absolute value of 3 equals 3. We know that the absolute value of -3 equals 3. Okay. So number 4, 5, and 6, fill those in for me. Number 4, 5, and 6, fill those in for me. I have them highlighted up here. Okay, so now I'm going to do something different just because I don't want you to get tired of your elbow partner. The person that you could look into their eyes straight across from you, please speak to them while looking into their eyes, okay? And compare answers for 4, 5, 6. So you two are comparing answers and you two are comparing answers. We have to talk. 4, 5, and 6. Tell her for number 4. Kinsley, what do you have for number 4? All right, 0.6. Number 5, Olivia, what do you have? 9. And then for number 6. Oh, I was gonna ask you, and then how about you have a seat? 1/2. Okay. Does anybody disagree with any of these 3 answers that were given to us? Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the word opposite. Let's talk about the word opposite. Opposites have the blank distance from blank. Okay, well, I'm guessing we're going to be talking about the distance from 0, right? Okay. Does anybody think they could give me an example of 2 numbers that are opposite from each other? Bennett? 3 and 3 are both, 3 and -3 are opposite. They have the same distance from 0. Opposite numbers are going to have the same absolute value because they are the same distance from 0. Okay, the opposite of a positive number, okay, if I give you a positive number like +3, I ask for the opposite, it's always going to be negative. Okay, and then we're going to flip that around. If I give you a negative number, like negative 15, and I ask you for its opposite, well, then its opposite is going to be a positive number. My goal is that every day you can feel confident to be able to do these problems, okay? All right, so let's come down to number 3. Everybody all together. What is the opposite of 8? Did you guys see my joke out in the hallway? Did you read the answer on your way in? Okay.
It's something about belts.
Yeah. What did the 0 say to the 8? Nice belt.
That don't make sense.
A 0 wearing a belt would be an 8. Here's a 0. We put a belt around it.
Oh. Like you do again, I wasn't watching. Corn.
Here's the 0, and he puts on a belt. Yeah, it's a tight belt. It's fine. They're numbers, not people. Okay. Now, let's talk about this number 7 right here. What's the relationship between 10 and negative 10? Think about it in head. How would we describe the relationship between 10 and negative 10? Raise your hand if you think you can tell me. Bronson. Good. Good. Kinley, is there another way to say that? What if there was like one word to describe that sentence that he just said? Jada, you. Good. One more thing we can say, Mace. Yes, 10 and negative 10 are opposites. 10 and negative 10 have the same absolute value. Corinne, what is the opposite of 5? Okay, good. Tyler, what's the opposite of negative 12? Good. Braxton, what is the opposite of negative 1? What's the opposite of negative 1?
1.
Yeah, look at you guys, you got it. Okay. All right, now, what happens if we have a negative on the outside? Like, look at these down here. Do you see how there's a negative outside the absolute value? Okay. If a negative is outside the absolute value, that means the opposite of the absolute value. Okay, if I have a negative on the outside of the absolute value, we're talking about the opposite absolute value, which is going to be a negative answer. Okay. So when we talk about this guy right here, first of all, let's just like cover this up. We know that the absolute value of 5 is 5. So I'm going to write 5, but then this negative is on the outside, so it stays there. Okay. Over here, we know that the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So this right here is 4, okay? But there's a negative on the outside, so we have -4. Okay. Now, we're gonna do something. Do you want to know what your homework is?
The back page.
Corin.
The back page of the notes.
This is your homework. The back page of your notes, and it's labeled, is it page 2? Right?
It's nothing.
Well, look on the bottom corner.
It has nothing.
Oh, probably because it's in your little clippy. All right, this is your homework. Now you have 5 minutes to get started.
Wait,
Absolute value is always going to change it to be positive. I cannot wait to wear my shirt on Monday for you.